Alright, so this is an overview of my acceptor bot circuit design. As you can see here, I've got just a standard breadboard. Just a quick overview of some components here. I've got my 3 buttons for user input set up to the left here. I've got 2 servos. These just stand for the 2 servos on the sides of each compartment door in the CAD diagram or CAD model. You can see here I'm using a distance sensor for material input. Basically what I've done is broken up the range of inputs a distance sensor could give an Arduino, and have assigned those to different materials. Next to that is a distance sensor that helps determine if there are dishes in each compartment. And if there are, it helps trigger a motor that will be attached to some rollers and a belt, and it can move the dishes onto the next bot in the cycle. So basically, let me sort of do a little code overview real quick. So obviously up at the very top we had to include the servo library. Excuse me. I also went ahead and just declared all of my variables, and I even had a couple bool variables that I used to be able to stop the system and restart it, as well as check for the correct material. So then I established my servo. I just named it hinge because it was easy to remember. And in my setup function, I've got all of my pin modes set to be output or input depending on what I want to do with them. I've also attached my hinge servo to pin 10, and I've began the serial library so that I could basically use the serial monitor to check all my code as I was writing it. So in the loop function here, I went ahead and started my button states, and then I have an if function for each of the buttons that checks whether the user has put input into them. The green button, obviously, the most that it's going to do is open the doors for the user to insert dishes. Once the user does that, the system is already automatically checking for materials, and then it will immediately identify that the correct materials have been in the compartments, and it will send them down the line automatically to the next bot. The yellow button is a resume button, so it actually works kind of off of the red. The red button here stops the system. It also will play a tone out of this piezo speaker, so that the user knows that the operation has been halted. It will also open the doors. The yellow will do the opposite. It will play another tone, it will close the doors, and it will restart the system. So then finally we get down to what the green button is doing here. Obviously all of this will be accessible to the Tinkercad link. Here we're just using this first sensor to determine our material, and then I'm using if and else if statements to print and send this information of what the material is to each bot in the network. Unfortunately, Tinkercad doesn't have a way to send information, so we just kind of have to assume there. But down here, we are just taking a couple statements and saying that if we do have the correct material, then we want to go ahead and figure out if there's still dishes in the compartment. If there are still dishes in the compartment, then we will turn on the belts, which have been stepped down here with a resistor to not go very fast. And if not, then the belts will be kept in the off position. So here is the circuit running. Alright, so green will open our hinges so that the user can place dishes in them. Once the user has placed dishes in them, he will hit the yellow button, which is the begin button. And you can see here that it is detecting ceramic. So I've set this system up right now to only work on ceramic. If you look down, if you look right here, we will be changing this. If we come down to a different material, it tells us what material is detected, sets the RPM for the belt to 0, and then also we can tell here that it is not moving even though the dish would be within the 25-inch width of each compartment. So if I change that now to up to ceramic, up in this range here, you can see that we start to get some movement down here out of our belts. If I pull this down, then it is now under, it is now at 14.6 inches, which is under 25, and our motor is running. If we wanted to stop that, and I actually am going to quickly go and comment out this tone right here. All right, and it would play a tone, but I don't want it to play very loud. We can hit our red button here, which if we actually can hit it, it stops our process. It says system halted by user. And if we want to restart the process and close the hinges, then we can hit the yellow button or the green button here, and it will end up closing the hinges for the user to continue washing the dishes. So that's it for my circuit. I think I actually got the ending wrong there. The green button opens the hinges, the yellow button closes them. I can actually demonstrate that very quickly. So obviously these are open hinges, and if we hit our close and resume button here, it will close them and we can finish the cycle. And that is all for my circuit.